Join Gator great Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning and welcome to a Monday edition, a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the Morning, coming to you live from the International Diamond Center Studios. It's family owned and operated with the largest selection of natural diamond jewelry, the only diamond and jewelry partner of the Florida Gators. Got a lot to talk about today. We'll have Edgar Thompson from the Orlando Sentinel. If you missed it, Lady Gator softball, run rules, all three games. They move on and they will host the Georgia Bulldogs here. I believe that is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. The Super Regionals are set, tons of SEC teams, and maybe the biggest upset in the history of women's college softball. The #1 overall seed goes down to the Liberty Flames. Your NBA finals are set. Scotty Scheffler wins the PGA Championship. We got a lot to talk about, and the Gator baseball team takes 2 out of 3 against Alabama. And let's go to the Tight Number hotline, because I'm sure this guy was busy all weekend. We got Edgar Thompson. Good morning, Edgar. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great, man. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Edgar, let's start with this because we got a lot to talk about today, a lot of stuff going on. I want to start with softball. I know you cover the Gator softball team as well. Had a good weekend. Rothrock had a kind of a rough outing against, I think it was Florida Atlantic, but they run ruled everybody. And now Georgia's coming in. I looked at the Super Regionals a few minutes ago. There's guaranteed there's going to be at least 3 SEC teams there. So I'm going to run this down for people to list if they haven't seen it. Oklahoma hosts Alabama. Florida hosts Georgia. Arkansas hosts Ole Miss. Florida State hosts Texas Tech. Texas hosts Clemson. Tennessee hosts Nebraska. South Carolina hosts UCLA. And Oregon is hosting the Liberty Flames. What do you think about the softball team chances of getting to OKC?
I don't know enough about Georgia, but Georgia beat Florida. I didn't realize this. Chris Harry, who's Johnny on the spot with the softball, he knows he's very helpful. I sat next to Chris this weekend, and I'd forgotten 2021 Georgia beat them here, I believe. But I do remember the 16 when they beat them on the walk-off, right? You remember that, how dramatic that was? So Georgia's gotten the Gators a couple of times. So obviously big rivalry, biggest rival in many ways. And so it should be an intense, emotional series, a lot more so than these games. I guess the game with FAU was actually a pretty good game because, as you mentioned, Keegan Rothrock struggled a bit on the mound, and it was 7-6. Shoemaker hit her second home run of the day. Well, my Lord, I hadn't really seen much of her. I've only been to a handful of games. She ripped one dude over right center field and knocked 2 branches out of the tree out there, the live oak, and a bunch of Spanish moss down. It was pretty impressive. I mean, the thing had some velocity on it. Exit velocity, and they were up 7-3 and comfortable, and then 3-run homer made it 7-6, and then the Gators just rolled them and Jocelyn Erickson with a grand slam to end it in 5. So they did first time in Tim Walton. I mean, not many firsts left for his program, but first time they've actually won all 3 regional games by mercy rule. So kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, you said it. 8 SEC teams have advanced. Texas A&M losing to Liberty 6-5 was a stunner. And I think Kentucky might have lost to Clemson and Mississippi State to Texas Tech. So 11 teams got in and 8 advanced. So the SEC, like many sports, just so impressive.
Yeah, this Georgia team is not what they've been in the past. Still very good because they play in the SEC, but I like our chances. But Taylor Shoemaker, I've been following this softball team ever since Tim Walton became the head coach, and she might be the best pure hitter he's ever had. and
He said so, that the ball
yeah,
takes off the bat in a way that he's never seen before.
yeah,
And that's high praise from a guy who coached Lauren Hager, who's just going into the Hall of Fame, and
Amanda Lorenz,
Megan Bush,
yeah,
Brittany Schutte. I don't even
Brittany
remember her.
Schutte.
Yeah,
She could
she
hit
held
it
the
as well.
records. Well, she had the freshman record. I'm sorry to interrupt you, for 19. Taylor's broken with 21 now, and she has the record of 22 season for home runs. We're talking that she will. I mean, by all intents and purposes, you got to think she's going to hit at least one more and maybe two this weekend. And then you have, Skylar Wallace, and I'm forgetting people, but man, I mean, Lorenz was the one I really liked. She didn't have the power, man, she ripped it. So anyhow, she's an amazing player and only a freshman.
Yep. Just to recap softball before we move on, they host Georgia. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. We're playing Friday morning, 11 a.m. start on ESPN2 against the Dogs. I don't know if we've ever played that early. That's interesting. It'd be good. Beat the rain if it's coming. Baseball, Edgar, boy, what a turnaround by Sully and them. They end the season at 15-15. Now they play tomorrow. I believe it's supposed to be the 5:30 game, which I think is 6:30 our time, against South Carolina. The chances of that starting at 6:30 are so slim because there's two games before it. The later you play, the later it gets into the night because the games go long. You have rain delays or whatever. But Edgar, you've been covering sports a long time, and we know they had a great turnaround and a great run at the end last year to get to Omaha. But to do what they've done this year, starting 1-11 and having so many players go down, it's really remarkable.
I'm looking at the weather. They're actually going to have some really nice weather there, man. Tuesday, though, it's going to rain. Wednesday is 81-63, and Thursday 81-57, 75-58. Friday, that's pretty good weather. But I mean, really good weather. But yeah, it's going to rain tomorrow, so God knows when that game will be. But look, don't ever question Sully, because I actually did on the podcast to do with Mark Long, who's a huge Sully guy. Mark loves Sully. And I was like, I don't know, man. Is this program starting to plateau? They had the huge year, obviously, 2 years ago and almost won it all. But last year was like slipped in the back door. And then you had the regionals in 21-2 that just ended so poorly, right? Didn't they? Remember they lost like 21-1 or something to South Alabama? It's just brutal. It's like, so they had the 1 year that was really good and then just kind of like, So I'm like, I don't know, man. Is the program plateauing a little bit, Mark? And he's like, let's wait and see. And now, I mean, 6 series wins in a row in the toughest baseball league, obviously. And then, yeah, it's incredible. 15-15, and who knows how they're doing it, because they're continuing to lose guys. So probably the particulars of who's in, who's out, etc., more than I do, honestly. We've been using a young man, Jackson Castellano, who's the alligator reporter on baseball, has been covering it some for the Sentinel. He's done a really good job keeping us abreast. I've kind of been focusing on softball, doing a little golf, doing a couple other things, because there's so much going on this time of year, as you know. I mean, it's incredible, the depth of programs at the University of Florida this time of year. Like UCF is obviously a big deal for us. And Matt Murchell does a fantastic job with it, covering that program. But when you watch, like, how that, they had a little run and softball lost 9-0 to Michigan. I think tennis has been pretty good. But it's like here, it's just like a fire hose, drinking from a fire hose, trying to keep up with all these programs. There are also so many good ones.
Yeah, speaking of that, baseball, like I said, supposed to play tomorrow night against South Carolina. We'll see how that goes with weather. Women's golf had a tremendous year, in my opinion. It came to an end yesterday out in California. The men's team will be playing for a national title or qualifying. That starts on Friday, I believe, same golf course. Buddy, Edgar, I know you cover men's and women's golf. Just your thoughts on the women's team and the men's team leading up to this week's event.
Yeah, the women's team really was kind of surprising. Very young team. I wrote a story on Addison Klonowski last week. They call her the silent assassin because she's apparently quite stoic, but has a real competitive fire to her. She had to go to Indiana. There wasn't a spot for her. So then she had to go to Indiana, or did go to Indiana, and decided she wasn't even going to play golf. And then Annabelle Fuller turned pro after the 2023 fall, and Klonowski came back to join the program and then was on the roster starting this past fall. And so she was kind of an interesting story. She's from Naples. So she really wanted to be a Gator and had to take this long road to do it. And she actually is going to still be playing today. She advanced because she was one of the top 9 remaining that wasn't on a team that advanced. So she'll play one more round of golf, but and she showed some real grit. But yeah, it just kind of didn't really come together on the weekend for them. They had a nice even par round, just tie for 5th after first round, and then kind of just fell off a little bit and finished 3 shots out of the top 15, which you got to get into, and then you play today, final 18, and then you got to be in the top 8 to make match play. It's a lot of golf, man. Plus, this young woman on top of it, Shane, she played a 36-hole qualifier Tuesday for the U.S. Open and didn't qualify. So she plays 36 Tuesday, gets on a plane to California, plays 18 Friday, 18 Saturday, 18 Sunday, playing 18 today. I mean, I love golf. You love golf. I don't want to play that much golf.
Yeah.
So, and play with that kind of pressure and and those rounds are so long. When you go, like, I report on golf, some tournaments, I do Bay Hill and TPC every year, and even the father-son, I mean, slow. It's so painstakingly slow, and waiting, and the patience and mental focus it requires to play. It isn't like you just you hit a shot, hop in your cart and go to your ball, right? I mean, it is like waiting around and slow rounds and methodical partners that are lining up 3-footers, plumb bobbing 2-footers. I mean, it's just like, it's not scooping a putt. I mean, it's brutal, but it can get brutal. And the women's game's even a tad slower than the men. And so, yeah, and then the men's team's legit, man.
Oh, very good.
I mean, but the women's team, to conclude, they were supposed to have, okay season. They won 5 times. They didn't finish worse than a 3rd place, I think, in the final 5 tournaments. They made the finals in match play at SECs, which was very surprising. So Emily Glazer had a real nice season there. And then JC is just, his team's really elevated during the postseasons. That used to be the knock, talent, some good results, and just kind of petered out in the postseason. Well, that's changed. The team just steamrolled. They went to Bremerton, which is across the Puget Sound, I think, from Seattle, and just stomped the competition. Now, they ended up winning by like 4 or 5, but they were just rolling out of the gate on that and shot like 29 under. I mean, very impressive. And then, and they're just, I mean, Ian Gilligan's elite. I mean, he's an All-American probably. Jack Turner's probably a future All-American. Matthew Kress nearly won the individual last week. He bogeyed 16 and 18, poor guy, to lose by 1, I think. This Zach Swanwick, the New Zealander, I'm actually writing a story on him. Hopefully I get it done today. I need to. But he's a kid from New Zealand, a freshman who's been very good. And they have, and then Ian Poulter's kid, Luke, who I wrote on just recently. I wrote a story a couple of weeks ago on him, and he's very, very good. So that team could get to match play again, and then all bets are off. You never know what's going to happen there.
Yeah, that's the key. Just get into the final match play, and anything can happen. Electronics World Integration and Design Specialist for smart home automation and entertainment. Affordable local installation, service, and support. Go check them out, electronicsworld.net. We got Edgar Thompson on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. John says on Facebook, YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. He says Florida played Mercer this weekend. The leadoff hitter for Mercer is Wyatt Langford's wife.
Oh, wow.
I did not know that.
That's awesome.
They probably had a lot of Florida girls on that team due to Lindsay Fico, who played for Tim Walton here She was a Santa Fe College softball head coach for a long time before she went to Mercer, but that's an interesting stat. I was not aware of that.
No, and he mentioned Lindsay, like there was familiarity, and I just didn't even know that. I
Yeah.
wish I put that in my story, but
Yeah.
yeah,
He played for
wild.
She played for Tim back in like 06, somewhere 07, somewhere around there.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah. Edgar, we got a couple of texts here on the Titan MR text line I want to get to.
Telling me to shut up about golf.
No, because we're going to talk more golf here in a minute. This is directed at me, but I would like for you, because you know more about these guys than I do. This is from All Things UF. He says, with Lyons seemingly healthy, a senior, Banks a senior back, Burrow, who's a sophomore, Bet, sophomore transfer, and Shivers freshman. How important is that we find an older D tackle transfer? Or are we good there?
Oh man, I was wondering what sport we were talking about. I was trying to like, who are
We're
they?
football now.
I get it.
I don't even know.
I
I
put
don't
it
even know.
together.
Does the portal come back open? I can't even follow.
I think the portal's closed.
I do too.
I mean, I don't think the portal's closed, but there are people floating around. You've heard those statistics before. I mean, there are tons of guys in the portal. They're never getting out of the portal.
Right.
And so, but that doesn't mean a coveted D tackle. I don't know where you go for that. That's got to be a position. It's like they talk about like offensive tackles in the portal, man, to clean up because there's so few of them, right? That are ready to, plug and play. I don't know if they're good there. That is a huge question. I don't know if it's the question. I mean, the question is DJ Lagway, and how he's coming along. Did I see Billy did a thing with Josh Pate? Like Josh Pate was over there. I did see that for sure, that he was over there on a video or something he did. I didn't watch it, and I should, because I think he interviewed Billy on YouTube. But he said he's throwing 3 days a week right now. Did you see that?
I didn't. I know I saw it as I was scrolling through Twitter. I did not listen to it.
Well, that seems like they're still easing him back to a real workload, right? I mean, you want to be you're going to throw every day, you would think, or not maybe every, but most during the off season. I don't know where he's at. I need to look into that. But that's the biggest question. Not to go talk DJ Lagway's shoulder again, but D tackle, man, positionally, the depth is unproven. And Caleb Banks, as great as he looked in November, his entire body of work at Florida has been very inconsistent.
Yeah, I'm still concerned about the D-line.
Yeah. So Caleb Banks, I think, could be just have an incredible year. I mean, that first round NFL pick. I remember looking at him at practice a couple of years ago, just you're up close, and they're wearing like those football shorts. So it was still like that there. My Lord, this kid is just, there ain't a whole lot of jiggle to him at 6'3", 325. I mean, he is a beast. So he could just be dominant. If he plays like he did against LSU Ole Miss, they have a real player on there. I mean, he could be like a John Bullard type season, and he probably has 40 pounds on John Bullard, who I still think might be in the NFL. Yeah. But so he's could be great. And then Lyons, I really liked what I saw from him a couple years ago when he was playing, right? I thought he had showed some real flash, but he apparently really broke his lower leg severely. Apparently it was a pretty gruesome scene, and he's coming back, but he was showing I think he's probably back to full strength now, but we'll see how that goes. And then Burrow, I think they have a lot of high hopes for him. Powerful kid. I don't know about Shriver's. I mean, Shriver's pretty young. And a lot of that stuff, there's a lot of technique and things, this.
Yeah, there's a lot of goes, just because a guy's big and all that stuff has nothing to do with playing football. We talk about that all the time. Doesn't matter how many reps you bench, how strong, how much you squat. Does that help? Yes, but it's all technique and understanding leverage and that type of thing. So to me, the key, as I say every year in the Southeastern Conference, our front seven on defense better come to play, because right now we don't have that one guy as an offensive guy, you have to say, okay, we cannot let that guy beat us on rushing the passer. We don't have that guy. At least we
So
don't. I haven't seen that guy. He may be on our team, but I haven't seen him yet.
Okay, so Sapp and Gums. Who am I forgetting? LJ McCray, man. They need him to make what Mark Long loves to call the Jokum jump. Right? They need that guy to like turn out to be the #1 defensive line recruit in the nation that he was tabbed and look like that.
He needs to have the Mia Williams jump. I don't know if I've ever seen an athlete make a bigger jump from a freshman year to a sophomore year as Mia Williams has in softball.
Well, Joakim Noah was like looked like a baby fawn his freshman year. I mean, all arms and elbows and knees flying everywhere. But yeah, it was remarkable what she did. She was kind of like, is she really any good? Last year, right? She comes in with this incredible resume, and then White Chocolate's daughter, and you're just like, But yeah, so she's been awesome. I mean, can they get something out of like Jalen Wiggins? Maybe. I mean, I don't know, but I think that McCray has to make a jump. I hear you though. And who are we forgetting inside? There is this kid, I couldn't pronounce his name, Mabachu or whatever. I think they have high hopes for him, the kid from Georgia, the defensive lineman, Joseph Jabba. But he's still a freshman. Because again, you were around the NFL for years. You hear this that like you take an 8-year veteran, nobody, journeyman kind of lineman who's like who plays, I mean, not just a bench guy, and put him against like first round draft pick, and he just schools the guy because of the techniques.
Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, we got a couple of texts here. This one's from Gary on the Titan Mar text line. He says, do you guys know why Billy's brother, Kurt Napier, is so involved with UF sports on Twitter now? You ever notice that?
I think I need to go find him because somehow
I don't know if I follow him, but he pops up on my thing. And this morning I actually saw it. He listed like all the accomplishments of the spring sports, what they've done. But I don't know. I think he's still coaching high school ball, isn't he?
I don't know that he is. His brother, he coached. So I went up to he follows me on Twitter. I'm following him back. No, but so yeah, he lived in Chatsworth, Billy's hometown. And when I went up there in December of 2021 to do a big piece, we talked about that piece before, I'm sure, Shane, right? Where I went up to Chatsworth, this old football coach, Dan Hackleroad, who had coached before Bill Napier, Billy's dad. He was the coach in the 70s. Really nice dude, longtime educator. He gave us like the tour, myself and Willie Allen, the photographer I was up there with from the Sentinel. We had a great time. I told people later it was a life-affirming trip. I'm just the nicest people. Everyone was so nice and, had so much praise for like Billy. Well, I wanted to get Kurt because Kurt was coaching up there currently, and he just kind of like, I'm not gonna say blew us off, but we were supposed to meet him and never did. And then his other brother, Matt, I believe, coached down in LaGrange, which is where Emory Jones is from. So they were in coaching, but I don't know what he's doing now. It says ball coach, math teacher.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought that was a good text. I don't know we don't know the answer to that.
Maybe he's the one at LaGrange because it says go Grangers. I thought it was Matt. Well, maybe I'm confusing them, but yeah, he's into it, man. Middle of May, Florida football. He has the Billy Napier cool symbol. But yeah, go follow him. He only has people listening. He has 22,081 followers. He needs a lot more, it sounds like.
Yeah. Another text here from Johnson on the Titan Mar text line. It's a two-part question. He says, Edgar, are any of the media traveling with the Hoops team to the White House? And what's the latest on Boogie Flan?
That'd be fun to go to the White House. I'd love to do that. I love history. It'd be fantastic and amazing to do it. But no, I will not be doing that. I'm going to be in Orlando Wednesday, not Washington, D.C. But Boogie Flan is visiting today. And I'm not sure who reported that first. It could have been Graham Hall. I'm not sure, but Graham's been on top of this stuff really well. That came out yesterday, and I was texting with someone over there confirming it. He'll be here till like 3 o'clock Tuesday. They're optimistic about him. He entered the NBA draft after his freshman year at Arkansas, which really was curtailed by a thumb injury he suffered against the Gators January 11th when the Gators went down there and beat him in a pretty grinded out game. And he played only 3 postseason games, and that was it. Otherwise, and they were kind of tepid performances. So he's number 22, I think, recruit in the nation, number 3 combo guard, number 8 overall transfer recruit. Those were high school ratings. He's from the Bronx. He's 6'2", 175. Real athletic. His assist to turnover ratio at the time of his injury led the SEC, 3.68. He averaged 15 at the time. So he's a player. I guess my question is, who's going to have the ball in his hands? I mean, Xavier Lee wants that basketball in his hands too. And I'm not saying that in terms of selfishness. Some guys, they're kind of a guy, Todd likes to talk about usage, right? Usage percentages and things. These are high usage guys, if I'm even kind of conceptualizing that properly. But these guys do need, they kind of operate with the ball in their hands. Though Boogie is a combo guard, so he might play off the ball a good bit. But that's also nice to have 2 guys who can handle the ball, I guess. It's just if they're copacetic and they have good chemistry, and then you throw in A.J. Brown, who I think is going to be a really nice 3-point shooter and whatnot. So he's rebuilt the backcourt. If he gets Boogie Flam, we'll see how it, parallels to the one that just left. I mean, no one's going to duplicate what Walter Clayton did, but I mean, it looks like some nice pieces. It's hard to argue.
Yeah, I like our chances. I don't know, reports are he wants several $1 million. I don't know about all that stuff, but
somebody was telling me $7 million. He didn't come in here with $7 million, but that can't be true.
No. Matt's question on I skipped over it on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, about women's golf. Do they get any NIL money? Probably not, is my guess. I know golf, the men get a little bit, but I can't confirm that the women get any.
I have no idea. I mean, but you got to think some of these athletes, the real elite ones like Paula Francisco or whatever, who's kind of their sophomore kind of rising star, though Klanowski is becoming their most consistent player. She had the most under par rounds and second in scoring average to Paula, but I don't know. I mean, you could lose them though. So maybe you got to do something for them, but we're not talking like the crazy money of any of the revenue sports, which is getting completely out of control. Millions of dollars being thrown around. I'm just curious how all this stuff's going to play out with this settlement that's coming, like in a month. This NCAA settlement that's coming. I was just reading a story about Mark Weiser, who does a great job covering Georgia. And in fact, I had it pulled up and now I don't have it in front of me, but he said that they're going to have to raise 2.5 million of that 20.5 we're talking about. I'm sure you've talked about it on here enough. That 20.5 is going to go to athletes in the initial year of this settlement, right? And 18 of it's going to be direct payments, 2.5 in scholarships. So you're going to have to they're already raising 2.5 for scholarships every year, right? So basically an additional 18 million schools are going to have to raise to pay athletes directly. And then on top of that, all the money for NIL. Oh, and by the way, the Swamp, they're going to do $1 billion renovation or whatever it is. I mean, Scott Strickland, man, he gets paid handsomely and I think he does a good job and presents incredibly well and is a very polished guy. His job gets increasingly difficult by the day.
No doubt. Andy says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel, didn't Lagway provide some NIL money to the women's sports? That was reported, I think.
Yeah, 100,000.
He probably, I'm joking here. He probably said, give most of it to my girlfriend who plays softball.
Threw on shot yesterday.
Yep. Ava Brown.
She's a really
very good player.
And she's great to talk to. She was fantastic in the post game. She's really polished. She needs to get DJ to say more. Not saying the DJ's not nice and very polite and respectful. He just is kind of like keeps it between the lines. She talks. She's
Yeah. Barone71 on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, I see a Miapalatin Cafe Boogie Flan dessert and IL deal in the future.
That's good.
Yeah. Chris,
I haven't seen a whole lot of that. Right? Have you?
you talking about like stuff in
sandwiches?
restaurants?
Yeah, like naming some sandwich at Sonny's after Austin Barber or whatever.
Yeah.
Another player who dates a softball player. But I don't know, whatever it would be.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't. Yeah, that's a good point.
Just have some fun with it, right?
Yep. Chris from Cottondale says, if we get Flan, then they will just share the ball handling responsibilities. Just don't want to overpay and mess up the culture that has been created. Got to trust the coaches. I agree with that. Edgar, this text on the Titan MR text line from Tom says, Edgar, in your opinion, there have been multiple reports from different venues about the Gators win total, 6.5 to 7.5 for this upcoming football season. Do you think that it's low because of DJ's uncertainty?
I just don't know. Those odds makers pretty much know what's going on. It's hard to argue against them, but just the track record too. I mean, the program, in fairness, did have the very nice bounce at the end of last year, but it's still 19-19 in 3 years under Billy. You've seen some head scratching coaching at times. I keep going back to Tennessee. I don't want to start hammering Billy here again, right? I'm taking a wait and see attitude to see how some of those things get cleaned up, that they still kind of continue to do at times. And I mean, the program's, 500 under Billy Napier. So I don't know that they're going to sit here and say they've definitely turned the corner yet until they see that. And then they know the interior defensive line lacks depth and is an injury away from real problems. What's the secondary, the state of the secondary? I'm not positive. I mean, Devin Moore can't stay healthy. I love the kid. I think he's an all SEC talent if he can stay healthy. Who's the other cornerback? Who am I forgetting? And then you got Aaron Gates coming back from an ACL, I believe. I thought he was the best defensive player maybe last year by the time he got hurt. So you have some questions, and you're relying heavily on a guy coming back from a hip surgery, a true 2-2 freshman at receiver, and a UCLA transfer. So it isn't like this stuff's all proven yet.
Right.
I mean, the potential is there for sure, but there's still a lot. And DJ Lagway was 12-9. I mean, 12 TDs, 9 interceptions, 59%. I'm not saying he wasn't spectacular. I love the kid. I think he's potentially transcendent. I mean, generational, whatever cliche you want, but he's still got to go out and do it. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of inconsistency.
Yep. Cormani McLean, Dijon Johnson. Yeah. There's a lot of guys up in the air. All right. Switching gears, Edgar, before we get you out of here. The PGA Championship was played yesterday. I really liked it. I thought Quail Hollow did a phenomenal job with the setup because you had multiple par fives that you had to hit great shots that gave you a lot of eagle opportunities. Then you had the drivable par fours that risk or reward. I thought it was a great tournament. The best player in the world, maybe the best player I've ever seen play. I'm still amazed at how Scotty Scheffler does it. Your thoughts on the PGA, what you saw?
Well, two questions, and I was only going to ask one, but now I got a second. What would you play the Green Mile? What would be your score on the Green Mile if you were even on your game? I mean, I can't imagine I'd do better than like 3 doubles if I was playing well.
I honestly, now if we're playing their tee boxes, how far is 17 the par 3?
It played various, but it was 1.8. It was like, let's say it plays at 190.
Okay, so
play up to 200, 216.
So I would try to play those 3, and I think those are the 3 hardest holes in the world. I really believe that. I would hope I would play them. I would try to just play them as bogey. I try to play bogey golf. I try to bogey each one of them. Now, I don't know if I still would, but that would be my goal. But I do think those are the three hardest holes in the world that finish a golf course.
It's the toughest close for sure, because like Bay Hill is as difficult as Bay Hill is. That 18th hole has been neutered a bit by the equipment. Tough. 17's still brutal, and 16's kind of a birdie hole. It's an exciting finish, just like TPC. Great, like 3-hole, 4-hole finish, but one of those is a birdie, easy birdie for a lot of those guys. 16, but yeah, the other is best player you've ever seen. Come on, man. I mean, let's not get recency bias. Tiger's
No. Listen. Here, no,
Tiger's the best player you've ever seen.
But Edgar, you're older than I am, and you've covered golf more than I've been in PGA Tour.
I ain't that old.
Right. But here's my argument.
Yeah.
In today's world, and it's all because of Tiger. All these dudes are like Tiger Woods. They're fit and they mash the golf ball. When Tiger played, he was the only guy that was fit and mashed the golf ball. The other guys were, pot-belly golfers. They could still golf their ball, but the talent to me, it's not even comparable of what he's playing again.
The depth of the fields, it is funny. You remember when, like, during COVID, they were doing all this, you could watch all these tournaments on YouTube. Like, that was a big thing. Like, in fact, there were people doing podcasts about like old Masters. So I went back and watched the 81 Masters. Those guys actually were a lot more fit than you think. I was very surprised how lean and mean a lot of those guys were. Norman, Watson, Kite, all these guys, they were all like athletes. You could see they all were like athletic guys. Now, I'm not saying totally different era, that one, but let's get to Tiger. He just did things that were just
No, I agree.
another level in terms of scoring average and consistency and wins in a season. But anyway, back to Scotty. Scotty is certainly at least being mentioned in the same breath as Tiger, which only maybe Rory has been in that conversation. And his consistency isn't even close to what Tiger's was. No one's has been. Scotty's a machine, man. When he gets going, he's kind of makes it boring. I've covered 4 of his wins, and only one of them was actually an exciting. I guess the Bay Hill and TPC, a couple of those were fairly close, but you never thought he was going to lose. And then 2 of them, he won by like 5 shots. I mean, he just sucks the life out of a tournament. He's just just an absolute machine who does not make mistakes. I mean, look how Rahm fell apart. I mean, Rahm was right there, lips out a putt on 13, gets that bounce on 14 was so unfortunate, where he tried to drive it with the 5-wood and it bounced right. And then he juiced a putt on 15 and 3 putts when he could have made an eagle. He ends up making par. And it was like, and then he's just like goes bogey, double. It's just like just off the, rails. And a lot of guys, I mean, I was saying Fitzpatrick was really there, but Fitzpatrick missed a putt he should have made for birdie, and then screws up and then goes bogey. He's done. And that just kept happening all day. And meanwhile, Scotty's just machine-like. His finish on Saturday, where he was 500 in the last 5 holes and birdied the last 2, was just unbelievable. And that really is what gave him the cushion to kind of win.
This is my personal opinion, and it could be way off base here. The live golfers. I mean, think about Cam Smith, Phil Mickelson, Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson. They were all like +7, +8, +9, +12. Well outside the top 120 of this golf tournament. That's over $1 billion. Okay. The 2 live golfers that were in the hunt, Rahm and Bryson, I don't think they have enough competitive rounds to be able to play 4 competitive rounds, if that makes any sense. Because when they play in a tournament, it's 3 days, it's playing shorts, it's like a damn celebrity scramble. Is basically what it is.
Music is obnoxious.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, they've already got their money. They don't, because I play competitive golf in our group. It's about 28 guys, and we'll have some people that they're good players, but they're more recreational type players. They'll come play with us, and they get destroyed because they're not used to playing real golf, competing, so to speak. When I look at Bryson, and this is my 2 cents on this, Not that he gives a damn. Bryson, everybody, the average fan loves how hard he swings and how far he hits it. What people don't realize is majority of these guys on tour hit it about as far as he does, but they swing and they're controlled. He can't control his golf ball, Edgar. And I don't understand when he gets on these par threes or his approach shots and he wants to hit a 9-iron or 200 yards and he flies the green and he's like, I don't understand. Just
He
go
hit that
back,
thing
go
so high up
back.
in the air during the wind, in the wind. That was bad.
Right. But go back and quit trying to hit it so far because that's what people like to see, but you're not winning. He's such a good player. Just go back to controlling your golf ball. Does that make any sense what I'm trying to say?
No, it does. And a lot of people are making that 54 hole versus 72 hole argument and the intensity of the competition. And it's hard to argue when you see Rahm collapsing as he did. He even said he was a bit embarrassed by it. And Bryson just kind of peering out. There's something to be said for that potentially. But Scotty, again, to him, I mean, it's as much like Scotty. Here's the other thing too. He had to adjust. He did not play the opening 9 well at all, right? He's pulling the ball. He's looking really kind of ratty. And they were even talking about it. Dottie is excellent on course, right? You like Dottie, right? She's good. And she's like, he needs to get a good drive here. And I think maybe Nabilo was talking about he's taking it away too quickly. Needs to put a good swing on this ball and just rips one. Remember, he ripped it right down the middle. And it's like, okay, now and then suddenly he's back and just played the back 9 incredibly well and solidly. So he's next level, man. And it looks like he could make this, he could go on another Scotty run this summer. He won 7 times last year. That hand injury when he cut his hand, right? Derailed his early part of his season. Rory capitalized. Won TPC, won Masters, won at Pebble. I'd love to see those guys in a final pairing at Oakmont. That's what I want to see. Sunday, Scotty and Rory with Rahm and Bryson in the penultimate group or something like that. Because Oakmont prides itself on being the hardest golf course in America. And that is going to be a hell of a U.S. Open if all those guys can rise to the occasion. So
yeah, Daryl on the Titan War text line says, Shane, we're at the Panthers. Did you ever play Quail Hollow or Pinehurst? I did. I was lucky enough to be able to play those. I don't remember what I did on those. I would pay attention back in those days. But Bryson is so talented. And I think if he would get away from, if he'd go back and have the correct length, he's got that 6-iron length in every one of his irons and his wedges and stuff. I just think if he go back and just swing a little bit easier, he can control his ball and keep it on the greens. But he loves to swing hard and he hits at 340. But then Scheffler swings nice and smooth and he hits at 320. And then you see how soft Scotty's balls come down when on his approach shots because he controls his golf ball. That's all I'm saying.
His distance control is absurd.
Ridiculous.
So I wrote about Rory and Bryson. I'm looking this up back in 2018. He and Rory were playing at the Arnold Palmer in the final round. Like it was one of those rounds that really didn't matter. Rory, it was at the end, they went out early. Rory shot 65, birdied the last hole. Okay. And Bryson shot 66. It was pretty cool. And so afterwards, Rory was talking about Bryson and they had played each other at Dubai or whatever, right? With each other, like in the 3rd round. And Bryson shot like 80 something. And he was like, Rory was like, after this round at Bay Hill, he's like, I thought it was going to take him a real long time to get, because his pitching, because those long single length clubs, he goes, his pitching was really shaky. Dude, that guy's got one of the best short games going. I don't know that he needs to change club length. He's excellent with those clubs. I don't know how he does it, right? Chipping and sand game with a 6-iron. I mean, it's bizarre. But what I think he needs to do, and you nailed it, is he's got to learn how to flight the ball a little differently sometimes. That 9-iron, he flew that thing like a mile in the sky into like a crosswind.
Yeah.
It's easy for me to say. I mean, I stink, but I mean, it's like these guys, Bryson's he's an elite talent. He should have those shots in his bag.
I agree. Edgar, good stuff as always. Got any good stuff you're working on? Let everybody know how they can follow you on Twitter.
OS Gators, if you want to give me a follow. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing the Zach Swanwick thing. I'm going to do some softball this week. I'm actually excited to hear 11 a.m. Friday. We'll be able to get that in the paper. I didn't know that was the time. I was looking before I came on.
Yep. Edgar, appreciate your time, my friend.
Thanks, Shane.
That's Edgar Thompson from the Orlando Sentinel. Join us on the Titan tomorrow hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. QC Kinetics for long-lasting relief, no surgery, drugs, or downtime. Schedule your free consultation at QC Kinetics. Quick timeout. Come back. I'll finish up with some of these questions and comments on the Titan tomorrow text line. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back. Our premium sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, International Diamond Center, Meldon Law, QC Kinetics, Dave & Buster's, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, JF Hayden Craft Liqueurs, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Los Linderos Tequila. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sporting Goods, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteak, Celebrate Primary Care, Dowling Signs, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, Okido America, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Nest and Wow, MG&A Wealth Management. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. To become a sponsor, call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
Coach, you know what always impressed me? How you beat Florida State to win the 1996 National Championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
You know, you won more SEC championships than you lost home games at the Swamp.
And you had plenty of super games in front of our Gator Nation.
Yeah, there really is something special about the Swamp.
I guess that's why we say about the Swamp, only the Gators get out alive.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spur's Gridiron Grill, 100% agave, Los Linderos tequila, aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean head beer coach, 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Linderos tequila, smooth enough to drink neat, bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
Los Linderos tequila.
1966 lager.
Los Linderos.
1966 lager.
Y'all stop bickering.
Okay, you're both wrong anyway. The best thing Spurrier's Gridiron Grill offers are Jerry's famous chocolate chip cookies.
I'm tired of you living in pain, and I want you to get real lasting relief from chronic pain in your knees, back, shoulders, and hips. QC Kinetics can get you moving again with cutting-edge regenerative treatments with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery. Stop putting it off. Call now and schedule your free consultation. Call QC Kinetics now in Gainesville, Ocala, and the Villages. 352-400-4550. 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. Gallo Car Wash is locally owned by UF alum and the only car wash that provides NIL opportunities to Gator athletes. Join our membership and see why Gators hate love bugs. I want to thank Edgar Thompson for joining us. We'll get JC. He's traveling. The Peachland Dental picks. I had Scheffler. I'm not sure who else he had, but it was a fun PGA Championship, I thought. Anyway. Barone71 on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, QB, what do you dislike more? The guy who drinks like a fish on the golf course or smokes like a chimney? Oh, gosh. Neither bothers me, honestly. The people I play with, neither one of those happen. Do all their drinking after we're done because we're playing real golf. And so everybody wants to compete. Don's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law. Shane, how's the HBC's role changing with the team this fall? He has no role with the team. He's still an ambassador. That's his only role at UL. Speaking of coach, Who do our listeners think is the best actor in that commercial? Is it Coach, Urban, Shelley, or Jerry? Inquiring minds want to know who wins the, what is that, the Grammy? No, Grammy's music, right? Emmy? Andy's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law. How crazy is this? Brock Purdy will now make more in a week than he made in the last 3 years. Yeah, I saw his big contract. Congratulations to him. Some people agree with it, some people don't, but good for him. Good for him. William says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, Billy getting Gatorade National Player of the Year DJ has been admirable. Grounded QB with premier talent. Yep, he's got a chance, got to be healthy. Got to be healthy. If you missed it, Gator softball super regionals host Georgia Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if necessary. I like our matchup in this game or this series. And then Gator baseball plays South Carolina tomorrow. It's supposed to be 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. We'll see whether there's weather or not. I doubt that game starts that early. So anyway, tomorrow we'll have Buddy Martin on the program. And I know we talked a lot of golf today, but it was on my mind. I want to congratulate the women's golf team for a great year. Men's crank it up this weekend. I like their chances. Just got to get into match play, and then anything can happen. Injuries occur whenever and however, and it's never convenient. For sprains, strains, and minor fractures, UF Health Orthocare makes it convenient for you. 7 days a week, including evenings, and walk-ins are welcome. That is UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. That's going to do it for today's program. Appreciate everybody chiming in. Hope everybody had a great weekend. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Take care.